Hey guys, how y'all doing? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new chapter of Nanatsu no Taizai, or the Seven Deadly Sins, on 235. Now, this chapter right here was really surprising in a certain sense, and it looks like to me things are about to get really ugly later in the next chapter, or that depends if we get a next chapter that might relate to the story, because I'll get there just a moment, as I continue reading giving you guys the recap of the entire chapter, of course. The first page was actually pretty cool. We see all the seven deadly sins along with Elaine, of etc., and King, of course, Elizabeth, obviously. Not to mention they say new anime series gonna come up in January. Obviously, those of you guys who those of you guys who have been reading the Seven Deadly Sins will understand that was coming up the very beginning, etc. But aside from that, the other cover pages were actually pretty cool. Seeing Bond, the Seven Deadly Sins doing their own sports kind of thing, and of course, there's this cover page of 235. It involves Zeldris actually having a forbidden love with Gelda, which is a vampire woman. So it looks like to me we might get a side story about these two, which I really look forward to, because it seems like to me we do understand that, or we read up on a couple things, that Zeldris was supposed to kill the vampire clan, but he chose to seal them away instead. So it looks like to me like Zeldris also had a forbidden love, aside from Meliodas being in love with Elizabeth many 3,000 years ago. But aside from major cool arts here and there, we have to it that the chapter starts off after the cover pages that Zeldris is not happy with the idea of bringing Meliodas as the next Demon King. Even right now, Zeldris is trying to protest about this, and the Demon King says, I do not want to hear what you have to say. But right now, I'm going to let you know Meliodas is heading to where your location is with the Seven Deadly Sins in order to break my curse upon the Supreme Goddess's daughter Elizabeth and myself. Although, he does tell Zeldris, although he does seem to breathe in a certain way, which goes ha, 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 which could hint at that he's very weakened and he may not be at full strength by that time. However, he does warn Zeldris that the Seven Deadly Sins are a major threat to the Demon Clan. Once you rescue him, I want you to kill all the Seven Deadly Sins before they become a much more ugly trouble. I shall watch over from the purgatory, and therefore Zeldris decides to follow his commands despite his reluctance to do so. But either way, he has to do it anyway. Aside from that, Zeldris calls all the 10 commandments to assemble at Camelot, and there's an order that we had to be doing in a priority. However, Zeldris realizes that they're not even listening. Of course, we do get to see every single one of them where they're at right now. Galan, of course, is frozen because of his own commandment, and Meliscula and Grey World are nothing more than in experimental tubes with Merlin, while Fraudulent, of course, is defeated and, of course, is given a funeral ceremony by what's her name? Victoria and Guillemot, which is to my really shock and surprisement. As for Montpellier and Derriere or something, they are not responding at all, of course, and Montpellier does not want to respond because he wants to live like this, and Derriere calls him a weirdo, and he really hates the idea. Derriere does not like the idea of living in this miserable little shack, and he says there's nothing else here to do aside from you doing stuff that can make me worry. So it looks like to me Montpellier does care for Derriere very greatly. And then of course Derriere does ask a question to Montpellier. Why didn't he kill us back then? I mean, ever since then we only had one heart left after being endured, and he could have killed us right there. Although Montpellier only responded in a way by saying, well, 3,000 years ago we were wounded by a battle against the Archangels and he saved us along with Elizabeth. As far for the reason, I do not know exactly, but we probably realized this why a long time ago, both you and I. Of course, they are taken in or being being like being treated properly by a human girl and got them some food and snacks, etc. Of course, Derriere does like have some fondness of human food, surprisingly, even though like she might have despises the humans. She seems to have somewhat of a better soft heart. Maybe that goes with Montpierre too. After they saved her from the crazy bear rampaging through the farmlands yesterday. She even compliments Derriere that it fits her, etc. Even Zeldris is wondering like why the hell isn't no one responding? They can't be defeated by all the 7 deadly sins. And we had to it that Galaxian decides to like respond, and he goes like, "Hey, where's Dolar? Is he with you?" He said, "Yeah, he's with me." And Zeldris like, "Why didn't you respond to me right away, huh?" And Galaxian says, "Well, this is a hard, because I didn't know what to say to you the moment I was going to respond to you. I'm going to tell you right now, we are not part of your crew anymore. It took us some time to realize our own mistakes, but we're leaving your butt. Give everyone our best regards. The next time we see you, we are mutual enemies for real." Zeldris, on the other hand, was very, very disappointed about this. He goes like, "You were just a giant and fairy to begin with. You were simply meant to be with us demons." And therefore, Galaxian realizes that the cursed power and the seal of the commandment disappeared from his body, and he is no longer one of them. So that just shows that like that their power is no longer with them, and they're no longer demons anymore. So that just shows that they reformed. Not to mention their eyes are no longer freaking demons anymore, which is really, really surprising. But even Dolar's like, "Hey, is the seal on my butt disappeared too?" He goes like, I'm not checking back on that. You know what? Your eyes turn back to normal, so you're alright, yeah. So it looks like to me Dolar and Galaxian are reformed, but I wouldn't say like I can't forgive them for what they've done. Although they might have their reasons, it doesn't like how am I supposed to say it? Erase their sins or their excuses of them killing many innocent lives, etc. Not to mention betraying their own clans, even though they come back to them in a certain way, and they just go like, "You Zeldris were leaving the group," and even though their power may have disappeared, their sins and everything else that they of their own crimes of what they did will not go away. Although like I can understand why, but still it's not gonna erase what they've done. But aside from that, they reformed and comes back to the side of good. And the Fairy King and Dolar are now out of the 10 Commandments, which is a good thing. Pretty cool. And of course, Estarossa himself is actually in a coma, which means the 10 Commandments are literally wiped out right now. Well, I guess that attack from Escanor on Estarossa really did a number on Estarossa. Escanor that launched his cruel sun pride flare whatsoever really sent Estarossa into a coma, which shows that Escanor is enough of a match against the 10 Commandments alone, especially if it's daytime. Nighttime, he best off be running like hell. Aside from that, Escanor is a major threat after all, because he just sent Estarossa to a coma. Zeldris, on the other hand, is not happy with the situation, but he says that he can handle the situation himself and show them all that he's worthy of becoming the next Demon King. He even activated his demon mark and gets ready to go on his own. I'm thinking in my mind, Doc, you're gonna get your butt handed no problem in tomorrow, because you may be strong and maybe the Demon King's representative, but going up against the 7 deadly sins, especially when they are combined strength, even you with your power of the demon mark and along with Escanor, it's gonna take at least more than just one, even though no matter how strong you are, to take them all on. But aside from that, we get a strange voice coming from these guys by saying like, "Oh, so it looks like to me you becoming the reigning king, the next reigning demon to become the next Demon King, huh? Allow us to help you in a certain way. Even Zeldris is actually surprised to see these two people named Cusack and Chandler. And these two right here are actually really surprising. But they give us some greetings right here where they end up having a little small talk. But apparently, even though they broke free from the goddess seals, they are greatly weakened right now. But they were somehow able to break out. Of course, on the other hand, one of them ends up apologizing to Zeldris for eavesdropping on the conversation of the Demon King. Even now, he knows that the 10 Commandments are literally got their butts handed to the 7 deadly sins. Zeldris, on the other hand, tells him not to worry about it and tells him to stand up. And he even tells him, like, you know what? With you two guys around, Cusack and Chandler, you guys will be enough to actually be enough to replace the other nine commandments that left me or died. Although he says, like, a touching reunion between a master and student, I'm feeling a little jealous, which just shows to my other surprise that he goes like, I'll quiet down. We're just old soldiers to serve the demon army again. As me, Cusack, Zeldris' former master, and you, Chandler, as Meliodas' former master. Which means that these guys might be enough to actually fill in for the other 9 commandments that are gone alone. Because if these two were actually masters of Zeldris and Meliodas 3,000 years ago, or more than that many years ago, this just shows that power might be enough to actually be much more of a threat, and etc. Damn, dude, this chapter was really surprising. In other simple words, if you really don't get the idea of what the hell is going on after I give you a long, detailed summary of a long recap, etc., the Demon King orders Zeldris to go grab Meliodas and kill the 7 deadly sins because they're already a major threat, not to mention what the hell's going on here. However, the 10 Commandments, Montspiet and Derriere, are doing their own thing and don't give a damn, honestly. And we have to it that Melascula and Great Road are experiments in the experimental tubes. And Galen, he's petrified by his own commandment. As for Frozrin, he's dead. Gluxinia and Dolor says, "You, we are no longer part of your group. We're mutual enemies," and they turn back to normal. And the next thing, of course, Estarossa is literally in a coma. So that just shows that the entire group of the 10 Commandments are literally out of commission. Except 2 people show up to possibly replace them fully. Because these 2 alone are what? The former masters or masters of Zeldris and Meliodas. That just shows that their strength and power are enough to possibly cause some trouble. Though we don't know. The only thing is, I really hope to see to come is Bond gets a sacred treasure and gets a certain strength build up or power up, because right now he is not in condition to even have a chance to fight a demon army, especially what we saw in the last arc. So yeah, until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm out for Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, peace out, bye bye. Toot-toot-oo!